What if you took 12,000 pictures and no one knew about it? Jack London was one of the most successful authors of the early 20th century. Historically, he was unique in being one of the very first writers to become both a critical and commercial success. Although he's best known for his novels depicting frontier life in the rugged Yukon territories, few people nowadays know that he was an accomplished photographer as well. Part of the motivation of doing photography is that your images will outlive you. But over 100 years after Jack London's death, his photography is seldom discussed, despite being historically significant and stylistically unique. This video will explore what made his images great and give you a few concepts you can use to improve your own photography. When you think about early 20th century photographers, you think of Cartier-Bresson, Robert Capa, and so on, but you rarely think of Jack London. In fact, I found out about him by chance. When I was at my local library, I came across a book called Jack London, Photographer, which is a photographical treasure trove of his work. Throughout his life, he took around 12,000 pictures, which, if you go by the high standards of Henri Cartier-Bresson, means 2,000 of those were good. Now, the kind of pictures you'll find in this book might surprise you. There are no images of wild sled dogs or rugged Canadian forests. That's because he forgot his camera when he went to the Yukon. No, really, he did. The bulk of his photographs were actually taken outside of North America. These include images of poverty in urban London, the Russian-Japanese War, and Pacific Islanders at the turn of the 20th century. We don't often see pictures of this quality from this time period, which makes them that much more exquisite. But it really shouldn't be that surprising that a novelist like Jack London would make a good photographer. The word photography literally means writing with light, and so this should be a natural transition. Semantics aside, there are two qualities particular to Jack London's writing that translate well to photography. First of all, he was a very visual writer. His prose was simple yet descriptive. He sketched out scenes objectively and without ascribing bias or forcing an agenda. It goes without saying that you need some sort of visual fluency to be a good photographer, and his powers of observation that enabled him to create vivid scenes on paper was a real advantage when it came to composing photographs. His kind of writing style falls within a larger literary movement of the time called naturalism, which examines the social and biological causes of human behavior. This examination into what makes people tick no doubt would have fueled his interest and curiosity of how others live and see the world. Which brings me to the next and most important quality translated into his photographic work: empathy. If you're going to take pictures of people, the ability to see things from another's point of view is vital, not just in putting your subject at ease, but also in anticipating their behavior in front of the camera and making that connection. His two most successful novels, called The Wild and White Fang, are written from the point of view of sled dogs and wolf dogs, showing their trials and tribulations as they face the harsh wilderness of the north. This ability to see the world through the eyes of others comes through his photographs as well. Decades before Robert Capa was even born, Jack London understood the value of getting up close, not only in connecting the subject to the photographer, but also the viewer to the subject. A true photojournalist, he photographed his subjects in their everyday environment, instead of putting them indoors with exotic studio backdrops that were so popular in portraits of foreigners at the time. Compare these two images of Manchurian barbers. Now, full disclosure, these images were taken several decades apart, but you can see that Jack London was part of a shift of portrait photography from highly posed studio photos to more candid and spontaneous street portraits. Let's explore these two qualities more deeply. This picture from the Russo-Japanese War is one that best encompasses both his visual acuity and his empathy. First of all, the photo is taken from a low angle and tilted slightly upwards. By placing the camera in a lower position, he physically and symbolically elevates his subjects. This is a general principle when photographing someone shorter than you. You'll notice he's also up close, which makes the scene more intimate. It feels like you're sitting by the docks with them. The closest girl seems to be the main subject of the photograph, and if I were to draw a 3x3 grid, you can see that she's placed along one of these lines, in accordance with the rule of thirds. Now she's not alone. There are 3 subjects in the image. If there were only 2 people here, it would look a bit off, like there's something missing. And this is the rule of odds. The placement of the smiling man in the right corner balances out the composition. The background is visually interesting as well. You can see the masts of the boats run along a diagonal track, mirroring the way the middle girl is standing. The slight tilting of the camera enhances this effect, and the additional people in the background also add a sense of movement to the scene, in contrast to the stationary subjects. There is a spectrum of emotions in this photograph, from the fatigued visage of the standing girl, to the neutral expression of the squatting girl, to the smiling man in the background. These extremes balance out the photograph. If everyone were serious, it would feel exploitative and intrusive. If everyone was smiling, it would take away from the realness of the scene. All of these elements come together harmoniously to form this image. There are many more examples like this in Jack London's photography, where a keen eye and empathetic approach come together to form incredible photographs. By shedding light on his work through videos like this, we can gain an appreciation for the historical and artistic significance of his images. I hope this helps you when you're using your own camera to take human documents.